You're watching Force 13's live streaming service. Live coverage continues on Hurricane Ida, now with winds of 150 miles per hour sustained and a pressure of around 935 millibars. Very close to, if not, I can't even remember Laura's intensity at landfall, but it feels very close to what it was at that point. There it is on the screen right now on infrared satellite imagery, and you can see its proximity to Grand Isle in particular, closing in less than 70 miles until its eventual landfall in that vicinity. My name's Nathan Foy, and let's cut straight to it. Jonesy with the latest National Hurricane Center update.
Alrighty, so the NOAA plane, this is what they've used for this update. Air Force just made a pass through. We'll get to that with Joey in a moment. After this update, both of us will go into the recon after that. So NOAA plane finds Ida stronger, extremely dangerous Category 4 Hurricane Ida, expected to make landfall in southeastern Louisiana today. So the winds we know are 150 and 935. At elevated Seaman Station at Pilot Station East near Southwest Pass reported a sustained winds of 82 miles an hour and gust to 107. Another station at Southwest Pass recently reported a sustained wind of 77 and a wind gust of 93. It's currently 75 miles south-southeast of Grand Isle, Louisiana, and 60 miles south-southwest of the mouth of the Mississippi. It's moving northwest at 15 miles an hour. Since that is the last update before the intermediate advisory, I think I'm just going to reiterate the surge, and I will also do rainfall potential, and I will talk, when I do rainfall potential, I will talk about the flash flooding potential, as I did just finish the excessive rainfall outlooks before the top of the last hour. So, Sabine Pass, that's the Texas-Louisiana border, over to Pecan Island, 1 to 3 feet of storm surge. From Pecan Island to Intercoastal City, 2 to 4 feet. Intercoastal City to Burns Point, including Vermilion Bay, 4 to 6 feet of storm surge. Burns Point to Morgan City, 6 to 9 feet of surge. Morgan City to Port Fortune, 8 to 12 feet. Port Fortune to the mouth of the Mississippi, 12 to 16 feet. Mouth of the Mississippi to Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, 8 to 12 feet. Lake Pontchartrain is 5 to 8 feet of storm surge. Lake Maurepas is 4 to 6 feet. Bay St. Louis to Ocean Springs, 6 to 9 feet. Ocean Springs to the Mississippi-Alabama border is 4 to 7 feet. Mississippi-Alabama border to the Alabama-Florida border, including Mobile Bay, 3 to 5 feet. And Alabama-Florida border to the Okaloosa-Walton County line, including Pensacola Bay, 1 to 3 feet of storm surge. Looking at the rainfall potential, this was created when they released the excessive rainfall outlooks. New Orleans, dead middle, the 15 to 20 inches of rainfall. There is a little bit of, I do now see a little bit right probably where landfall is going to occur, probably just west of Grand Isle, of 20 plus inches. So part of Louisiana, I'm now seeing a purple, not a pink, but a purple. There is a 10 to 15 that surrounds that and goes a little bit into southern Mississippi. Going up to Jackson, just to the northeast of Jackson, is 6 to 10 inches of rain, and 4 to 6 through the state of Mississippi, and a nice bit of Alabama as well. Luckily in Tennessee, you're now down to only 2 to 4 inches, but some areas could receive 4 to 6. 4 to 6 area. Though for Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, even me here in northwestern New Jersey is in a 4 to 6. Some areas in Kentucky, Pennsylvania, a little bit of western Maryland and West Virginia are in the 6 to 10 range, though. That's isolated amounts. That is why there is a big slight risk and a little moderate risk area on day 3 of excessive rainfall for Tennessee and Kentucky, especially in Tennessee because they had just 17 inches of rain that caused a flash flood emergency and unfortunately killed 20 people recently, within the last week or two. Going into the excessive rainfall outlook, and I did post those in the live output. Let me just go live real quick.
And whilst waiting on that, Isaac, you have another webcam up there as well.
Yes, this is from Leeville, Louisiana. This is just due west of Grand Isle. So if the Grand Isle camera goes down faster than this one, we have this one to fall back on. And you can see the water is really high. I was looking at this camera the other day, and the water was about that far back. And now it's, if I had to estimate, probably a good 2-4 feet more inland than it was before. Now that obviously Ida is getting closer and closer. But again, this camera is from Leeville, just west of Grand Isle, Louisiana.
Josie, do you have anything right now? I could hear myself for a moment there as well. All right, let's go to Joey then. You had some news too, I believe.
Yeah, this is Recon news, which has come through. We do have a couple of Recon aircraft in Hurricane Ida right now. A few moments ago, one of the
I apologize.
picked up 46 knot flight level reading, as well as a 140 knot SFMR reading, and that was in the northeastern quadrant of the storm. So these readings definitely showing a strengthening system. I'd like to note that the SFMR reading was flagged due to rainfall, although the rainfall rates in the area that the SFMR reading was given is quite low. So we are going to have to get a bit more data via dropsons to confirm. But we still do have reconnaissance aircrafts in the storm right now, which will continue to relay data onto us.
Alright, let's try that again. So it really wasn't liking me trying to show Discord, but I can show it in Google Chrome. So this is the excessive rainfall outlooks. As I've been working on these for the US Twitter, these will be tweeted out around 7:30. I turned this up here originally red for when we got the day 3 moderate, and I added this box right here with the text. This down here was blue, but I just turned it to red because of how serious this situation has gotten. So there is a high risk of excessive rainfall for today, which makes sense when you look at this area of rain right here, the 15 to 20 inches with this little area right here, right around the landfall area, supposed to get 20 plus inches of rainfall. That is why we have a high risk of excessive rainfall with a moderate slight and all that surrounding it. This is not really, these marginals are not related to Ida, but that's still for the rest of the country. But this right here is due to Ida. Tomorrow, there is no high risk, but that can always get issued. But you can see the big moderate that goes all the way up into southwestern Tennessee. So this is a big moderate that covers this 4 to 6 and also the 6 to 10 down here and some parts of the 2 to 4. They've actually backed off this originally. This 4 to 6 was connected, and actually the 6 to 10 went high. Still, the moderate risk was retained. These are not due to Ida. However, the moisture that you're going to start seeing come into the southwest is due to Nora. It's not NORA's remnants though, but it is the tropical moisture related to NORA. But this right here is, except right here, so this cutoff point anywhere to the north is not related to Ida. To the south is related to Ida. And day 3, we now have a moderate risk. And as you can see, more, I'm just going to mention in the southwest, as you see, more of the moisture from NORA starts to come in. But NORA itself, its remnants, really is not supposed to get to the southwestern Rockies until middle of the week, really. And that's more the day 4 or 5, 6 time period. This marginal and this marginal is not related to Ida. This right here is related to Ida. This might be related to back end stuff or moisture from Ida. I'm not sure. However, this moderate risk on day 3 is related to Ida's rains. So a moderate risk or higher for all 3 days on the excessive rainfall outlooks from the Weather Prediction Center. And as it is, and as all of them are related to Ida, that is why the life-threatening situation tag is there.
Indeed it is. If you have any comments or questions for us whilst we're on the air regarding Ida, its effects, its impacts, its forecast, although that's becoming clearer and clearer as the hours go by, and observations on the ground, that will become increasingly important. If you are in the area, or you know someone in the area, or have any news from the area, if it's safe to do so, please send us a message. Start your message with Force 13 all in text. It will light up for us in the comments section. Let's see if we have any right now. There's a question about whether it would reach CDPS stage 9. I don't know what your guys' take on that is. I think it might be a bit too small.
That's for Devon to decide, actually.
It's not going to reach stage 9 unless it went to 175, 180, 185, which it's not. We're currently in a high-end stage 7. When it became a Cat 4, Devon did update it, so we are in a high-end stage 7. And Devon did say before he went off earlier, if this goes to Cat 5, we are going to probably go up into stage 8. We are currently in a high-end stage 7. If this gets named to a Cat 5, we are going to stage 8 on the CDPS.
And that is our 10-tiered scale of cyclone destruction potential. Usually the really bad stuff starts at around stage 5, so that gives you an idea with it being nearly an 8. There's been quite a few more comments here. Could Ida's pressure drop into the 910s or 920s before landfall? The NAM 3 kilometer said yes earlier. I think it had 914, but that is a unreliable model. But is it beyond the realms of possibility that it could...
Absolutely, 100%. It is definitely possible.
Okay.
We've been saying this since the first. It dropped 12 millibars in 1 hour 45 minutes, and that's when it became a Cat 4. We were saying that earlier. If the trend continues to where it goes around a 5 to 6 millibar drop per hour, it could reach 9 teens, or it's definitely going to get into the 920s. It could reach 9 teens by landfall. It is very possible that happens. And even I was asking, could we see sub 910? I don't think we're going to see a sub 910 anymore.
I should think not.
I was definitely questioning it after I saw that second, 11 millibar drop in an hour and 45 minutes. But I think definitely anywhere in the 910s, so the 9teens and 920s definitely is possible. It is definitely possible. I'm not saying it's 100% going to happen, but it is. But on the scale of 100% impossible to 100% possible, it's definitely possible. Definitely possible. I'd say it's 100% possible, but it's not a guarantee to happen.
Well, within the time frame of about 3 to 5 hours before landfall, it is now. Those percentage chances, while possible, are beginning to drop. So the storm, if it gets there, it would be surprising, considering that it's really running out of time before land interaction, really, before landfall.
And we just saw the camera at Grand Isle just a moment ago, just starting to get first light there. This is Pensacola Beach, which looks like it's around dawn there now. And those clouds, once again, associated with the storm, but not the main part of the hurricane, just outer bands, which will continue there. Potentially up to a 3-foot storm surge at this location. We don't have any coastal cameras in Louisiana, believe it or not, apart from Grand Isle. Apart from those traffic cameras, of course. Nicole sends in a question, and thank you very much for your support during this testing time. Our coverage, we've been at it now for just over 23 hours, and you know, any support that we receive helps us produce all of this content, and certainly we've improved a lot in the last year or two. Says, at what speed is Ida currently moving? Still, I think, around 15, or has it gone down now?
Still 15.
What is it?
15 miles per hour?
Yeah, still 15.
Still 15.
So that's your question answered there. This is the latest infrared, looking even more beastly on the satellite imagery. The eye is really out now. Let's see if we can get a temperature inside there. The latest temperature, 17 degrees Celsius. There's category 5s that have looked worse than this at this point.
We also had a drop zone information, which suggests a central pressure of 935 millibars. So not much change regarding the pressure.
And more questions. Ninja Warrior says, this seems to be intensifying like Michael, isn't it? They say. What do you say to that?
In the regard that it's intensifying very, very quickly, I would definitely agree. This is intensifying very fast. That eye is starting to really warm. It's clear now. It's the CDO in structure is becoming very, very circular. It definitely looks like it could be a Cat 5, but that's gonna have to be verified by Recon. So, a little bit.
There was another question as well. Once the National Hurricane Center, they just tagged us in a comment, or us, calls this a 160 mile an hour storm, the yearly streak of having one category 5 continues. Well, maybe. Although I'm not sure most of the team think Iota was a category 5. Let's see what else we have right now. Could Ida still intensify even though it will be moving over shallow water? When will that cutoff point be for its intensification phase? It certainly hasn't ended yet.
At this point, I'd probably think when it makes landfall is when it would stop intensifying, because we can clearly see that it is still intensifying at this point, although not as rapidly as it was previously. It is still intensifying. So I think the only thing stopping this now is when it does make landfall, that land interaction that it will have, which will inevitably weaken it.
New Orleans once again. Looks like the rain has stopped again there. Looks like they'll be in a significant dry slot for an hour or two before the main part of the storm comes in. Of course, winds will probably start getting up gradually before that time. So it's going to be a long morning over there, that's for sure. A question, is it just a coincidence that Ida and Katrina made landfall on this day? Well, if it wasn't, I don't know what it would be. We only get coincidences in the weather world. Let's see what else we have. What time do you think it will make landfall? At the moment, it is still looking like later in the morning. What time are we talking now? It's just after 6 Central
Yeah,
Time.
it's after 6 Central,
Currently around
7 a.m. on the
59
east.
miles from Grand Isle now.
You're probably looking at about in CST. You're probably looking at about 10 a.m. CST.
Well, that's actually a little bit fast because
Yep.
if we're talking 59 miles, if it's moving 14, 15 miles an hour, we're talking about 4 to 5 hours. So, I mean, we'd be talking about
I think 11 at the
11
earliest.
we'd be talking, if you're saying 11 Central, that'd be about noon on the East Coast. About an hour or two earlier than what was originally forecasted yesterday by the NHC. But, I mean, it's around that ballpark of late morning, early afternoon.
No, really. I think the NHC went with 2 p.m. in one of their initial advisories.
Well, that's when it was still in EDT, in Eastern Daylight Time.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
Soon, very soon.
yeah, indeed. There's the latest satellite imagery once again. What else is there to say? Let's go over to Isaac with more webcams, I think.
Before we do,
this is also in. Oh, okay.
don't know if this was mentioned, but a graphic did get made on it. The SPC did issue a tornado watch.
Oh, they have?
Or
It's upgraded to a warning.
What?
well, no, I'm just talking about the watch. There's probably tornado warning somewhere. Yeah, yeah, there is a tornado warning.
Yes,
but I'm going to
there
talk
is.
about the watch. I'm going to talk about the watch first.
Okay.
Tornado watch 472 until 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Valid from 6 a.m. Central Daylight Time. So that's the thing you usually see with these tropical cyclones. They usually issue the tornado watches for about 12 hours, and then they'll reissue a new one. So the watch hazards, it's just a few tornadoes possible. You're not really going to see wind events, besides within the eye wall and all that, like severe wise damaging winds, hurricane wise damaging winds. That's a different story. You don't see hail at all. The probability, though, 2 or more tornadoes is 50%. 1 or more strong EF2 to EF5 tornadoes is 10%.
Oh,
and this
there it
is
goes. That's not supposed to happen. Stop that. Sorry.
Is for southern Alabama, including the Mobile area, the western part of the Florida Panhandle, which looks to include Pensacola, southern Mississippi, and eastern and southeastern Louisiana, maybe including New Orleans.
There's that tornado warning that's been displayed on our screen past Christian, base St. Louis, in that radar indicated tornado warning. Let's go to Isaac with the webcams.
Yes, this is another webcam from Leeville. There's three webcams in Leeville, and this is one of them. This is the northernmost one. And for reference, Leeville is just west of Grand Isle, Louisiana, so they're going to be getting pretty much the same effects from this hurricane. And you can see water is already starting, well, storm surge really, is starting to cross a little bit of the road there on the right of your screen. And the winds are, of course, picking up. Thankfully, I've yet to see a single car go through this stretch of highway, and I believe that is due to this road being closed. I want to say starting last night. So nobody should be out and about driving right now. You should be hunkering down and wishing for the best if you're in this area. If you're still here somehow and didn't leave, be hunkering down and going to a very, very sturdy structure here. Because as you can see, conditions are going to be continuing to decline here from this point forward. And this is a really ominous shot if I had to say so myself. Just seeing the water just slowly come up the road.
Okay, so I can confirm, yes, New Orleans is in the tornado watch.
Once again, radar imagery of the storm's progress. I'm still not sold on that northward movement yet, though.
It looks Yeah, it looks like it's it looks like it might have been a wobble.
Yeah, I'm
Just
seeing it
checking
too. That
satellite.
that tends to happen with especially storms of this strength, where you see a storm wobble a little bit more north, a little bit more east, etc., and then it goes back to its general forward motion. So that may have been what just occurred. It just a little wobble there.
Yeah, and the imagery, it wobbled north and then it wobbled further west back to its original trajectory. Also, just wanted to say, sunrise should be coming in New Orleans in the next few minutes, so definitely less than an hour. So we should definitely be able to get some visual images of this storm very soon.
All right,
Yeah,
here's some news from Recon. So this is from the Noah 3 plane, as we know, from the plane that was found for, sorry, the Air Force plane they found. It was only around the southwest quadrant was all around 98 knot flight level winds. Yeah, now we have 111 knot flight level winds with 98 SFMRs in the southwest quadrant. That should give you an idea that it is still definitely intensifying.
Gee. Isaac, that just looking again, it seems to be getting higher by the minute.
yeah, I've noticed that too.
Mm.
It's really rising there. So I'm gonna definitely keep this on as long as possible, as long as it stays online here. This is
Where is
So,
that, Isaac?
incredible. This is due west of Grand Isle. This is Leeville, Louisiana. So this is gonna be, like I said, due west of across the other side of Grand Isle. So they're gonna be seeing, because the same impacts Grand Isle is gonna be seeing here, and you're watching it live here. The storm surge creeping closer and closer towards the left side of the road there.
Yep. They're either in the 8 to 12 or 12 to 16-foot storm surge.
huh.
Or in other words, it's due south of Galliano for another reference point. Go
All
ahead,
right.
David.
We're going to take a short break here. We'll be back in a couple of minutes with the latest on Hurricane Ida. Over the years, we've done updates and live coverage on literally hundreds of tropical cyclones, and in recent years, particularly in 2020, launching out in other regional channels, doing weather updates and coverages there as well. We also launched our Earthquakes channel in 2020 and are going forward on all fronts in 2021 with a community that's grown remarkably in the last year. But it's not just about you being along for the ride, we want you to enjoy yourself as well as an Ultimate fan, and that's why we've lined up a big chain of benefits for each various stages on our Ultimate Fan program. Force 13 live coverage continues on Hurricane Ida, and you can see once again the viewpoint from that road near Grand Isle. I'm not sure if that road has a number, but I'm sure most people local will know LA1. So that is a road that cuts through a lot of very low ground and wetlands, so probably not much of a surprise that it would be flooding as much as it is already, but that's just another sign that it is, and this is a real situation. Hidden Amethyst thanks us for our amazing coverage, which I mean, we can only be humble about that. We have been running for, well, in half an hour it'll be 24 hours of coverage, which is, I think, the most that we have done consecutively with commentary ever. We've been streaming Storm coverages for since the 2015 season, so a very long time. And I think this will be the worst that a lot of people have seen. But obviously we have to stay level-headed. There's a lot of discussion to have about this storm. There's a lot of important information that we need to deliver, and hopefully we are doing a good job this morning. So first light in Louisiana, as you can see, that's the view down near Grand Isle, with the water lapping up along the roadside, and that appears to be an increasingly worsening situation. Let's look back at the radar imagery. This is live right now, and you can see quite clearly that it might even be taking a westward jog there, which puts it right back on a trajectory for a Grand Isle landfall. Let's see if we can have that other view from Grand Isle back up. Maybe a bit lighter there now. It's not very clear, that imagery. Possibly that it's been hit with rain, but I think you get an idea of, you can see those winds, I think. It certainly looks like blowing from left to right, and the trees there. Difficult to see on that image, I appreciate, but that is quite possibly the closest camera to the eye of the storm right now. And just a reminder of the reference point. The center of the eye is now approximately 54 miles from Grand Isle, and is currently 28 miles from, what was it called again? Pilot Station East, which is a I don't know if there's a building or anything there, but there's a point down there which is on the pretty much the southern point of Louisiana, which is along a little peninsula, and I'm not familiar with those areas, but you know, that whole Mississippi River Delta area, basically. So that's the closest point of the storm. I don't think anyone lives there. Back to Isaac's camera, if we can. Just to show you once again, there it is. The picture quality improving as we get more light in the area. And very soon we'll have visibles on satellite as well, along with the 7 a.m. National Hurricane Center update, which comes up in 25 minutes.
Intermediate advisory.
It's an intermediate, yeah. So we'll have a little bit more information than we have with those hourly updates. And there's another graphical depiction, the satellite showing the eye of the storm getting nearer and nearer. New frame just came out. Let's see if we can get an eye temperature. General rule is that a warmer eye equals a stronger storm, especially when it's backed up by those cloud tops. And I tell you, it's not good news. The latest eye temperature being 19 degrees, surrounded by those cloud tops. Honestly, if you were to go by satellite alone, and we're not, because we have direct observations available and recon on the way, but by satellite alone, I think in at least or near half of cases probably it would be declared a Category 5, but we're not yet at that stage. Latest from the National Hurricane Center was 150 miles per hour, which is 10 short of Category 5 status, and its central pressure 935. Questions then. James Wood says, how badly will Gulfport be impacted? They might get a decent surge. They're also looking at maybe 9 or 10 inches of rainfall, and you'll get strong tropical storm wind gusts and sustained winds. Any latest information from Recon? Anything new?
What I can say is the NOAA aircraft is passing the center. It's not updated yet. It
So
will
you're
be
saying
soon.
we'll get news shortly then?
Yes.
Okay. New Orleans right now deserted. Of course, you would probably expect that, or nearly that, on a Sunday morning. Car just goes by, but hardly anyone out on the street, and that is probably good news. Those who haven't evacuated should be really hunkering down indoors. We've spoken many times about preparedness actions. I heard overnight. I actually went to sleep with the stream running, so I think some of it filtered through and I had a pretty sleepless night. But during the night, I'm sure our team, I think it was Devon. Oh, look, there's an ad. We didn't make that ad. I think it was Devon or someone else on the team at the time, or Thomas, was saying to treat it like a tornado warning.
Yeah, someone was saying for the excessive rainfall, for it being a high risk and moderate risk, it should be treated like a severe weather, high risk, moderate risk event.
Oh, intermediate advisories out.
For Nora, not
Oh, it
Ida.
is Nora. Sorry about
Yes,
that.
so Nora's intermediate advisory, still 75 miles an hour, still 985. Nora, very near the coast of west central Mexico. Heavy rains and flooding continue. It is 30 miles southeast of Mazatlan. Excuse me if I. Thank you. Sorry if I butchered that. And it is about 240 miles to the east of Cabo San Lucas.
Looking at Laguna Beach right now, it's not in the storm, but you can see from a distance the composure of the hurricane out there at sea. That's how it looks from far away. That area shouldn't be affected by anything really. And then let's compare it back to the storm itself and in the storm with the latest from that webcam. Isaac, any changes?
Just water quickly going up the road. I've seen it go probably about a good foot here in the past 15 minutes or so. I've had it online. So definitely conditions deteriorating from here. And you can see the camera occasionally shaking in some of those heavier rain bands.
Can we look at any of those other cameras nearby?
Yes.
Just to see what they're showing right now as well.
Take a look at the southernmost one. Here's the southernmost one.
Crikey.
And let's go towards this one above it, which I was showing earlier. And let's put that full screen. Hopefully it'll load. And
oh,
wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Amazing. Just before, when I was showing this earlier, you could barely see water trying to go on the other side of this little, I guess, mini sand dune here. Now it's going right across it now, so it's easily gone up a good foot or so since the last time I've showed this camera. So quite a change, to say the least. And this is only going to keep deteriorating here in conditions. This storm is going to get higher, the winds are going to get higher. It's just going to be all going downhill from here. So this is just a view of what it looks like again in Leeville, Louisiana, just west of Grand Isle.
Gee. Let's remind people of the storm surge expectations right now. Port Fortune to the mouth of the Mississippi River currently expecting 12 to 16 feet. Morgan City to Port Fortune 8 to 12 feet. The mouth of the Mississippi River to Bay St. Louis, including Lake Bourne, 8 to 12 feet. Burns Point to Morgan City 6 to 9 feet. Bay St. Louis to Ocean Springs also 6 to 9. Lake Pontchartrain 5 to 8 feet. Ocean Springs to the Mississippi-Alabama border 4 to 7 feet. Intracoastal City to Burns Point, Louisiana, including Vermilion Bay 4 to 6. Lake Maurepas 4 to 6 feet as well. Pecan Island to Intracoastal City 2 to 4 feet. Mississippi-Alabama border to the Alabama-Florida border, including Mobile Bay 3 to 5 feet there. Sabine Pass to Pecan Island 1 to 3 feet. And the Alabama-Florida border to Okaloosa-Walton County line, including Pensacola Bay, 1 to 3 feet there. And as we've been hearing about rainfall, total rainfall accumulations of 10 to 18 inches with isolated maximum amounts of 24 now are possible across southeast Louisiana into far southern Mississippi through Monday. And this is likely to result in life-threatening flash and urban flooding and significant riverine flooding impacts. We'll see if any of that terminology and wording and in actual numbers change at the 7 a.m. intermediate advisory. I'm not sure they'll change all of that very much, but they could change the storm's intensity, although I don't think there's been any observations supporting any changes right now. Last we had was 150 miles per hour and a pressure of 935. I believe we are waiting for a recon update though.
Yeah, we are.
Drop sound info is out. Don't know if I want to go over that, Jonesy.
That drop sound is a little old. That is 152 knot, but not at the surface. That's well above the surface. I don't think that's flight level as well. I don't know how high up that would be. But at the surface, there's 120 knot there. So that's the Southwest Eyewall drop sound from the Air Force one, and then as we know, they found 936 pressure in the drop sound there, which also matches the 936 that NOAA 3 has found, and NOAA 3 just looks to be flying around the eye right now. So, but it looks like they're going into the southwest part of the storm. So we'll see what they do. Air Force 305 is going to be coming in on that northeast side yet again.
First visibles are starting to appear. You saw that a moment ago. We're sticking with the infrared just a little bit longer. The bottom left hand side, we'll update that to visible imagery in a moment as well, and that will update throughout the day.
First visibles are looking quite ominous.
Yeah. So, you think National Hurricane Center will wait for recon for the update? Are they expecting data to come just before the hour mark?
They're gonna get that They're gonna go through the northeast part of the quadrant, so they will get that in. I don't know if we're gonna get another eye drop sound before the update. I think they're gonna stick with the 935 pressure-wise, maybe bring it down to 934 and 933, but I think this run is going to determine what happens. Tropical weather outlook has been updated for the Atlantic.
Okay, what's the news?
So the trash thing that is off the Delmarva, this is literally words from me, Schwent, and Devin, because it is literal trash, is 1020 still. A broad area of low pressure located just east of the Delmarva Peninsula is producing a few disorganized showers and thunderstorms over the warm Gulf Stream waters. Environmental conditions appear favorable for some slow development over the next few days as this system drifts southeastward and then eastward moving away from the U.S. so that it's 1020. The big one that we've been watching, though, and this has been marked for a few days, a tropical wave is expected to emerge off the coast of West Africa by Tuesday. Environmental conditions appear conducive for a development once the wave moves offshore, and a tropical depression is likely to form towards the end of the week while the system moves west-northwestward at 10 to 15 miles over the eastern MDR. So the chances are now up from 1070 at 2 a.m. to 2080. The NHC has not marked the 10% area in the Caribbean that we have marked because the models have been showing a lot of support for that. Meanwhile, no model supports, once again, that trash thing off the Delmarva.
Okay. Back to one of Isaac's cameras there, looking very choppy there now.
Let me go ahead and switch over to that
Yeah, let's
other one
go.
we're watching. See how that's progressing. Give it a moment.
I'm sure most people know, but this is the only road in and out of Grand Isle.
And you're seeing it get covered with storm surge here before your eyes.
Try and get a position estimate now. Currently, by the looks of things, around 50 miles from landfall. And the way it's going, I'm getting pretty sure here that landfall will be near Grand Isle, or maybe a little bit further west towards Port Fortune. One of the two, or in the middle.
Or
the eye could even go over that camera.
Oh wait, look at storm surge just crossing the left
Oh
side.
yes.
For the first time, look at that. Storm surge just crossed over the road here officially.
yeah, it could
Small,
also
tiny part of it, but still made it through.
it could also still somehow miss both of those and go in more over by Homa and Morgan City, but I don't think that's gonna happen at this point.
No. I'm just not convinced it's going to turn fully north, or very much north, because I think we've just seen
western.
we've just seen a westward jog. Yeah.
Yeah, Homa is more western. I know west. I know that.
So Louisiana Highway 1 is this road, which the viewpoint we're looking at, I think, is near Leesville, was it?
Yeah, northern end of Leeville.
Leeville.
Yeah.
And that is just a couple of miles up from Port Fourchon, basically.
Yeah, for reference, it's south of Giliano and west of the other camera, Grand Isle camera.
Now this is where it gets a bit serious, though, because what we are looking at right now is in real time a access point to Grand Isle. The communities down there being cut off, and you'll never know when it gets restored again.
And as you saw, some of the first waves have crossed over on the other side of the road here, so it's only a matter of time before this road becomes truly impassable.
We have a new drop sonde from the NOAA 3. 934 at surface with a 9-knot wind. That's going to be about 933.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's your pressure. Now we just wait to see what we get in the northeast quadrant from the Air Force plane. I think they're tag teaming this right now.
And there again, satellite of the storm's motion, a westward jog that really is there in the last few minutes. Isaac had another camera there. Oh, we're going to another one now.
Oh, yeah, I was just taking a look at it. It was just showing the road.
Yep.
Yeah, all I really saw was just the camera shaking. Going back to this one here for a second. These are probably the main two I'm going to be focusing on.
Of course.
But yeah, wow, look at those waves getting progressively more and more higher with time. See that spray coming in too. And again, this is in real time. This is not time lapse. This is not an hour out of date. This is real time. You're seeing this happen in real time here, unfolding from your eyes.
Well,
in
you
the view of one of
see,
the cameras.
you see our clock down there, 11:52 UTC, which is 6:52 Central, so about half a minute.
So what I'm seeing here is there's a verified Twitter account, the Texas Storm Chasers. They have announced at 6:42 Central their team is evacuating from La Rose and heading north. They say the town is not survivable in a high-end Cat 4. Town is sticks and tin, which is wood and tin construction. It will be full of flying debris. Blocks of folks did not evacuate and are still in town.
Where?
That is in La Rose. That is something you don't want to see. That is just north of Golden Meadow and Leeville and Port Fourchon and Grand Isle. That is in the marshes. I believe they do not have levee protection at all as well. So you're talking about 12 to 16 foot storm surge there, or 8 to 12 foot storm surge. So good call by those storm chasers to get out of there. Bad call by those people who decided to stay put and not evacuate.
The
And
red that we're looking at, it's very, very close to where you've just mentioned.
Oh.
It's just a bit south of that.
Yeah, it's just north. It's actually over here. See if I could, right there. There you go. There's the town there, just north
right.
of the cameras. And here's that view looking to the north from Leeville, I believe. Yeah, there you go. Just getting progressively worse.
And you've seen it blow a bit as well there.
This is just the start of what's going to be a really long day for a lot of people. And quite a scary day at that.
The update from National Hurricane Center shouldn't be far off. They will be doing an intermediate advisory soon. And who knows what they're going to go with.
The NOAA 3 plane, I'm not sure which quadrant this is, because I know they were doing a circle around the eye and probably went into parts of the eye wall and then back into the eye around 11:40 UTC. So this was about 15 minutes ago. Flight level winds of 140 knots with an SFMR of 131. Again, not sure what quadrant that is in.
I believe it's the northern side.
That is the northeast.
Oh, northeast. There you go.
So that was in the northeast that they pulled that.
Yeah, I'm seeing it here. Yeah, northeast.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find. Oh, yep, that was in the northeast, and it looks like now they're gonna be heading. They're heading due west. I'm not sure what kind of pass they're gonna be trying to pull. Waiting on the recon from the Air Force plane.
The Air Force one has updated, and I'm seeing a SFMR up to 129 knots, although it's flagged, and one flight level reading of around 137 knots, a little bit higher than that, I believe. I can't get an exact reading just yet.
So that means we're either going to see it stay at 150 or they'll bring it up to 155. Remember that 140 SFMR was flagged. If it was unflagged, we would have a Cat 5 right now. Due to that being flagged, a decision is being made at the NHC on what they want to do.
Yeah, they're really waiting to the last minute to get as much data as possible before they issue that update.
And there it is. They're staying 150 miles an hour and a pressure of 933 now. No changes in warnings. Life-threatening storm surge and hurricane-force winds reaching the coast of southeastern Louisiana. Extremely dangerous Category 4 Hurricane Ida expected to make landfall in southeastern Louisiana in the next few hours. We're going to go to a break now. We'll be back in a few minutes with the latest information on the storm. We'll probably go over a lot of the information, the warnings and the hazards affecting land, and of course we'll be taking a look at the storm as it continues to progress towards land, and the pictures from the cameras appear to be getting gloomier, as we would expect. Stay tuned. We'll be back for more shortly. Our live coverage will continue in a moment.